Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and for another Cool Cat Quickie. Now you may already have seen a video where I've shown you quickly how to use these pierced slot dies. Now these create a little slot or line in your paper with some piercing around the edge that you can then make a hole in. You can tuck things in, so it creates a little tuck spot. And it came to me that actually, because the outside of the die follows the same shape as what it cuts, we can actually do this and create a reinforced slot. So then you can just tuck in your ephemera pieces inside. Now, this is made on the Batwing tag, and as you can see, I've done it twice here. But for this one, I think what I'm going to do is just show you how to make it on just a regular, I've got the Mexican tag this time, but the idea works the same no matter what tag or how many you do. So you could keep going up and you could put it onto a piece of paper which is going onto a flap as well. I'm just doing it as a tag, just as a way of showing you on a smaller scale. So what I have already done is cut out the largest Mexican tag out of my cardstock, and I've cut my decorative panel to go on top. I also have then my scrap piece for doing the reinforcement, which I'll use later on. So of course, you could use your half circle ones or your longer ones. You get all these different sizes. I think I've got 3 different sets here, but I link in the description, so if you want to get your hands on some of these slot dies, I'll link to the shop for you to find them. So let's have a look. I'm going to use my T-bar ruler. I find this quite useful for finding the middle. Now Cool Katz dies are really good because they have these centralizing notches. In the middle, there's a little V shape. So I could measure the height, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to use maybe the width of the ruler from the bottom, line it up to the side. So this paper is 4 1/8. So 2 1/16 would be the middle. So I've lined up my centralizing notch with the 2 1/16 mark, and I've used the ruler to line it up level as well. So that now should be centralized and leveled. I'm sending it through my machine. And then if I was just doing the normal one, that would be me done. I would then just glue it down and you would get that little slot where you can, but in fact, you know what, I can glue it down, can't I? Ooh, let me ink the edge first. Just some black soot distress ink, because the way you glue it down is actually quite important, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, if you imagine where did I put the little photo card here? When you put that in, it's going to come down there. So you don't want to be gluing where you can see that card coming through. So around the top is fine. And across the top, I'm not having much luck with my glue today, am I? And a glue. In fact, you know what, I'll just put some tape, some tape there, tape along the bottom, and tape up the edge. Okay, so what I haven't got is this bottom piece blocked off or glued down, because otherwise you're not going to get your ephemera pieces in. So let's glue this down. And if I put that in before I stick it down, it sort of starts to train that paper to stay upright for us. So that's how I would normally just do my tag. And you've got that lovely piece there. If you wanted to camouflage that, you can glue, oh, it's the other way around. You can glue that piece back in, or you can flip it over if it's a pattern is solid. So you've got the plain purple. Or I like to leave it black so you can see there's actually a photo slot there. So that is the normal way of using these photo slots. But the idea that I had was, because it's all the same shape, what if we cut it out again? So we're going to tape it down. And send it through my machine again. And then leave my die in place. And what I'm going to do is take my pen and I'm going to trace around the outside of my die. Now, not going through those notches. You don't want to go through those centralizing notches, so just skim over them and come down and come down this side, and then just remove the tape bit by bit. So I'm avoiding those centralizing notches, and I'm coming down around, avoid that central notch again, and avoid, and then I'm just going to join up those round bits. And what I've got is the outline of my die traced onto my paper. Yes, there's a gap there. That's where I was avoiding my notches, but that's okay, because when I come to cut it, I can just cut straight across, because I've got a bit of space that side and that side. There we are, straight across. So this is just a way of adding a little bit of extra detail to your cut slot, and a way of using a die in another way again. So as I said, this can be done straight onto your decorative paper, which is going to go onto a album page or a flap in your album. But I think it's quite fun on the tags as well. Just add some black soot, especially in that gap there, because I got some of my black ink showing. So this just sort of camouflages as if it's meant to be there. So it is a bit flimsy, so just be extra careful. And then let's hope my glue gun is playing ball now. I'm just going to go around, gently around, tiny bit of glue. And now I can glue this, and because the die, I've used the same die to cut out, the hole is going to be exactly the same size. And as I said, I've used the pattern as a solid, so I've used that side and that side, so it all ties in and all sort of matches. If you want, you can then just go around and add more black if you want to highlight it even more to make it stand out. Normally I would wait for it to dry before doing this. There we go. And that is how you use your die to add a reinforcement. But as you saw on the Batwing version, you can do it twice. So what I've done, I've made another one using the Flight of Fancy. And as you can see this time, that's all I've done is done it up higher and done a second one. And the way you would glue this is, you can either have it so that this drops all the way down, and so does the one on top, or you can have it that this one stops there and the second one drops all the way down, which I think is the better one. So for that, you would glue the bottom. I think I've overfilled my glue. That's just, I seem to have a blockage. Right, so I'm going to glue the bottom of this one and the bottom of this one up the sides. Don't know what's wrong today. I think I need to warm the tip up, that's all. Right. And glue on top of this one. So it's on the bottom of this one, bottom of this one. Leave the tops free and then glue there. And what you'll end up with is a 2-tier slot. So this one will go down. If you remember, we glued along the bottom, so it won't go further than that. But then this one goes to the bottom of the tag. And you could go up another third one if you wanted to, depending on how high you want to go. But I think that one goes to up high enough there already. If I went up one more, and it would stick over that. So I think 2 of that one was quite nice. So with this one, I've used the Seize the Day. So I've used the red patterns and solids. With this one, I've used one of the patterns from Flight of Fancy as well. So look for a more plain side for doing your reinforcement. It just shows up a little bit better. That's why the patterns and solids are nice for this. So there we go. That is how I made my reinforced pierced slots. I think it just adds a little bit of an extra touch to your tuck spots and also makes it less likely to tear should the recipient be a little bit rough with it. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please check out the rest of the playlist for my Cool Katz Quickies, which is just a bunch of videos, really short, quick ones on how to use the dies in different ways. And if you have enjoyed, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe and leave a comment. And if you do enjoy my videos, please also join my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul. I'll link in the description below, as well as a link to the shops where you can get some of these dies as well. So thank you for watching my latest Cool Cat Quickie, and hopefully I'll see you all again very soon.